hit record, and you are good to go.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'd like to welcome you to our introduction and demonstration of the 2020 Virtual Expo. On the call today, we have Jennifer and Jen from Association Management Resources, Ben from the Michigan State Horticulture Society, Trish and Judy from JES Professional Services, and my name is Greg Bird of the Michigan Vegetable Council. Again, as Ben just said, today is an overview of the Expo, not a training. A vendor training will happen later in October. I'd like to start out with the mission statement for the Expo, which is as follows. The Great Lakes Fruit, Vegetable, and Farm Market Expo is the premier event to interact, learn, and continue profitability by providing educational and business connections. The goal of the 2020 Expo is to provide as much networking and education for the industry as possible. The Expo's board of directors believes that these two things can be accomplished through a virtual event. Our 2020 Virtual Expo will take place online from December 8th through 10th. Attendees and trade show vendors will register ahead of time for the event. An email address will be used for login to the system, requiring a password, much like other common online systems. Association Management Resources manages registration for the show as they have in past years. JES Professional Services manages the trade show of the Expo. Once someone logs into the Virtual Expo, they will be taken to the lobby of the Expo, just as you would be when you walk inside the DeVos Place in Grand Rapids. The lobby will be where you can go to get to the rest of the components of the Expo. There will be menu options on the lobby page. There will be some sponsorship opportunities on the lobby page. There will be links which can take you to the education auditorium or to the trade show exhibit hall. There will also be links to other pages for more sponsorships, scholarship winners, and industry award winners. The education auditorium will be where attendees can see a schedule of all the industry education programs over the 3 days. An attendee can build a schedule for what they hope to attend. The auditorium will provide links to the classrooms. The classrooms will integrate the Zoom software so that speakers can give a talk while a virtual room of attendees can watch the speaker and even communicate with questions. Having internet access is important, but it would be possible to also call in with a phone just to hear the audio portion of the education session. The trade show exhibit hall will be the place where each vendor will have a booth. The booths will be grouped by type of business. Visually, the booth will look like a graphic picture of a booth with company signage and logos, making the booth recognizable as a specific company. Attendees can click on booths where they will enter an expanded booth page. A company can upload documents and videos to this page and advertise specials on this page. An attendee can watch a video and even download the documentation. While in a booth, the attendee will be able to chat via typing with a company representative who will be online at the same time. The booth will also have the capability for an attendee to have live video communication with a company representative. So what we're going to do now is, after that introduction, is I'm going to turn this over to Jen from AMR, and she's going to go through a review of the Virtual Expo. Jen, go ahead.
Thanks, Greg. If you wouldn't mind stopping your screen share, I'll go ahead and get my my screen going for you guys. Hi, everyone. My name is Jen. As Ben and Greg both mentioned, I am one of your conference managers for the Great Lakes Expo. We're really excited about this product, and we wanted to just kind of highlight a few features for you, give you a brief overview of what the platform and what you can expect for you as an exhibitor, but also for our attendees. Give me just a moment. I'm going to pull up my screen for you. Okay, so we are using a virtual event software called vFairs. This is a product that was designed to make big shows like the Expo work in a virtual format. We tested more than a dozen virtual event platforms looking for the right solution for Expo, and we think that this is a perfect option for a not so perfect situation. We of course wanted to be meeting in person this year, but this will help us get as close as we can to being in person for now. So each of our attendees will sign into the platform and they'll land right here in what they call the lobby. Now this might not be the exact layout that we choose since we haven't hit the design phase yet, but this should give you a good picture of what to expect. Also, you as exhibitors will be able to enjoy these features with your registration, including all of the education sessions. So the lobby has all of the pages that we will be offering on your top toolbar here. You also have the ability to click into several of those features in separate portions of the lobby. So we'll test those in just a moment. I want to show you the auditorium. This is where all of our education sessions are going to be taking place. If you go ahead and click on your screen here, it takes you to your full agenda. So we will be running both live and on-demand sessions, and all of the sessions are being recorded. So if you miss something, if you are chatting with a customer, making a sale, just know you can come back in and view content right here. And I do want to show you a couple of exciting features. One of those is called the Lounge. The Lounge offers you the ability to do some networking. So you can actually pull up the Meet the Community and pull up a full chat with all of the participants, the exhibitors. You also have another feature called the Info Desk. This is a dedicated area manned by a technical assistant throughout the entirety of our event to help all of the attendees, but also you as exhibitors with any questions that you may have on how to use the software, or help in finding the right page. So it's a nice feature to maybe help you guys along the way if you're experiencing any issues during the event. And before we go into the exhibit hall, I just want to point out these branded icons right here. So these are open to be purchased through our sponsorships, which JES, Trisha and Judy will be talking about in just a few minutes. But if you go ahead and click on one of these icons, it actually takes you directly to the booth of the company who sponsored. So this is a really nice feature to help lead people to your booth first. And I'll show you what the exhibit hall looks like here. This will be the actual view that we're using for the trade show. And you can see that by just hovering your mouse over to the right, it scrolls through. So you can see all the exhibits in a very, very easy fashion. If you were to scroll back again to the left, you would have the same scenario. So let's go ahead and take a peek at one of these booths. Okay, so you can see that each of the booth designs are a little bit different, and that is because your booth is fully customizable right down to the layout. So you can add in as much or as little content as you would like, but these booths offer some amazing features. You can see that these little thumbnails actually offer you the ability to link direct information. So if you have a sales demo video, a commercial, if you wanted to link to, an email address of someone who could assist someone on site and just in the moment, you can certainly do so. You also have these little tabs down here, which you're able to fully customize with all of the content that you might be interested in. If you're the sales rep and you have a LinkedIn page, that's an area for you to be able to either connect or make sales. You can certainly add that in here. One of my favorite features that you have, however, are these videos and the documents. So these videos are a great opportunity for you to showcase product demonstrations if you have them. If you have recorded customer testimonials, you could certainly link those there as well. But these documents, all of the documents that you would normally have given out in person, the attendee can download right to whatever device they're using to view the expo. Whether that's a smartphone, a tablet, a computer, all of these documents can be downloaded and land in what they call the attendee swag bag or the attendee briefcase. So you can see there's a little plus sign here. If you go ahead and you click on that swag bag, it adds directly to it. So I'm going to take you up here where you can check out everything that's in the swag bag. So all of the content that you could possibly want is in here for you. You also have the ability to email directly from your briefcase. So this is, I think, a really exciting feature. You can send any content if it's, you know, a sample contract, if it is, you know, your sales discounts that you're offering for Expo, they can be emailed right to a buyer or a gatekeeper right from this briefcase. So a really exciting feature. So now that we've seen what the booths look like, let's talk a little bit about how the booths get set up. So you will receive an email from our project manager at VFairs about 6 weeks before the event date with a link to your company's booth. I do want to let you know that VFairs offers all of our exhibitors a webinar to help walk you through the process on how to build your booth. But hopefully this will help ease your mind on the simplicity of the process. I'm going to go ahead and show you a quick video of what one of those steps is.
Hi there. In this video, we'll show you how you can design and customize your booth as per your needs using our self-service booth editor. The first thing you want to do is to select a booth template. You can click on these arrows to navigate between different layouts and take a look around. Once you find a booth template that you like, click on it to open the edit view. Here, you'll be able to see the banner slots have turned into placeholders with their respective dimensions in pixels. Now, you can start placing the banners for your booth by clicking on any slot. First, you will need to upload an image that you would like to add in that specific area. This can be a PNG or JPEG file. Next, you can trim and crop the image to make it fit inside the booth frame. You can use the zoom in and zoom out buttons to scale the image and then drag it around to properly align it within the banner space. You can also set a background color for the banner. Simply click on the color picker, choose a color from the spectrum, and click OK to apply. Once you're done with the image, click on Continue. On the next page, you have the option to associate a URL with the banner so that when users click on it during the event, they would be taken to that specific link. This step is optional. That completes the process for one of your banner slots. Simply repeat the same process for all the banner spaces and set it up the way you'd like. In addition to the banners, you can also change the colors of the booth panels to whatever you would like. Simply click on the color picker against the front and back panel fields and set it to your preference. Once you're happy with the booth, simply click on Save and Continue to finalize the design. And that's it. Hope you found this video useful, and we look forward to seeing your creative booth designs. Thanks for watching.
So you can see this is a very easy process, just adding content that you probably already have in your files. Just a simple point and click to add. There is also a handy step-by-step virtual guide on how to build your booth. Now the team at JES has a copy of this if you want to take a look at it before it's time to start building your booth. Again, it's a very, very easy process, typically filled with all of the information that you folks probably already have at your fingertips at home. So I want to stress to you as well that you're able to make as many changes as you need to your booth as you're in the setup process. So if you forget something, no worries. You can certainly add it in. You can also send it to the folks at JES. They're able to add that in for you as well if it's getting down to the wire. Don't forget that we're still here as your trusted resources, and any help that you need along the way, please feel free to ask. We really are happy to help. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to Ben and Greg, but please feel free to put any questions that you have about the software, about building your booth, etc., in the chat, and I will do my very best to get those answered.
Thank you, Jen. You're all set? Great. I would now like to turn this over to Judy and Trish from JES to talk for a minute about registering for a booth for the 2020 show. Judy?
So our 2020 show contracts are going to be live on the website. You can also reach us via email or phone, and we will need if you already have a deposit filled out, we will just need the page 4 of the contract, the virtual letter back indicating what you would like to do with your deposit. And then if you haven't deposited yet, but you would like to exhibit in the virtual show this year, we will only need the page 1 of the contract, the contact information filled out and sent back to us, and we will contact you from there to initiate payment and get you all the details you need for setting up your booth.
All set, Judy?
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you. Next, what I'd like to do is I'd like to review our sponsorships for the year and talk about signing up for those. And then I will review our timeline for this year's Expo platform, and then we'll get to questions and answers. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Uh, 2020 Virtual Expo sponsorships. The annual event is an important part of the industry here in Michigan and the Great Lakes. Organizations support the industry by offering sponsorships to the Great Lakes Expo. Some of these sponsorships cover scholarships for aspiring students of our industry. Others provide sponsorships for the GL Expo, which in turn act as marketing for their own business. Moving to a virtual environment has changed our sponsorship options for the year. Unlike in-person shows where we have a structure of sponsorships with the various levels of benefits, a virtual show offers the opportunity to sponsor different parts of the expo. Companies may sponsor several different items. However, certain sponsorships will have a limited number available. And here's our sponsorship opportunities. And, before I get to this list, we also have our pre-registration brochure, which goes out to all attendees each year, and there are also sponsorship and marketing options available there. That information and all of this sponsorship information will be up on our website as of Monday, September 7th. And you will contact Association Management Resources, Jen, to talk about sponsorship information. We have a sponsorship at the $250 level this year called the Genius Bar. This Genius Bar will be, and I have it written down here and in the information, but an industry expert will spend 45 minutes answering questions on live in a Zoom session, and you will be able to sponsor this session. Sponsor page listing at the $250 level. Company logo will be included on the sponsorship page with a listing of all other sponsors. Scavenger hunt item, $300. And this one's a little bit interesting. There will be a game within our virtual expo where attendees can look through all the different trade show booths and try and find specific items that will be hidden there, and you could sponsor one of those items in your booth at the $300 level. Attendees that find all the items will be entered into a drawing for a gift. Education sessions, 1 hour, $500. So you would get to sponsor an education session with a logo, banner, and promotional video shown before that education session. A 2-hour education session at $1,000. So you would get the option of 2 promotional videos, a logo and banner, and those promotional videos will be shown before the session and at a break in the middle of the 2-hour session. Sorry for scrolling back up. I wanted to mention the Genius Bar. We do have a limit on 15 Genius Bar sponsorships. And I'm coming down here to our awards page, sponsorship at $1,000, where there's a web page in the expo that will show all of our industry awards and our scholarship award winners, and there's just one of those sponsorships available. The poster page, where all the Michigan State University scientific posters will be displayed, is $1,000. There's only one of those sponsorships available. Company networking event, $1,000. There's 15 of these available. This is where your company could host a 45-minute Zoom call where you would invite guests to come listen to you to talk about a topic of your choice. This could be set up as a webinar or a free-flowing communication with your attendees. We would list this on our expo schedule, but obviously marketing to get people to this event would be partially up to you. Premier Lobby logo, $1,500. As Jen showed us in her demonstration, there were banners on the lobby page that everybody would see every time they entered, and then they would be direct links to their booth. And then our typical scholarship sponsorship at $1,500 to sponsor one of the early student scholarships. That would be in honor of your company. All right. Let's see here. Next up, I'd like to talk about the virtual expo timeline. The beginning of September, which is now, we are starting to build the virtual expo. We have this platform and we are starting to build it. Beginning of September, we will notify attendees of the virtual event, pricing and date registration when it opens. The vendors are aware that this is a virtual event. Social media has broadcast that it's a virtual event, but there are still attendees out there that might not have heard the news that we are going virtual online this year. And so here at the beginning of September, we'll be notifying them. September 18th is the last day for pre-registered vendors to cancel for the 2020 virtual event. Mid-October, maybe mid-October to late October. We haven't set that exact date yet, but attendee registration will open. Later than normal this year, but registration is online and travel plans do not need to be made. Mid-October, vendors will receive training and start the process to build the virtual booths. Then the end of the week before Thanksgiving, vendor booths need to be complete and no more vendors can be added to our virtual trade show. Starting the week of Thanksgiving or the week right after Thanksgiving, the virtual expo system will be online and waiting for the December 8th event. So at that point in time, once the virtual expo is online, attendees can enter it and start building their schedule for the education session. December 8th through 10th, virtual expo is live. Our education sessions this year are going to be from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. The trade show will be open all day, but we do not expect your booth to be staffed all day. We will set a time frame where we would hope that you can staff your booth. But throughout the day, somebody could still click on your booth and get information from it. The month following the expo, registered attendees can still log in and see booths in the exhibit hall. So what I would like to do now, if Ben's ready, Jen's ready, I think we're ready to start taking some questions and answers. I have some we're going to get started with that were given to us ahead of time. I will go through some of those. I see a bunch have come in through the Q&A box, so feel free to type your questions in there. We will try to get to all of these, and we will also be sending out an email with the questions and the answers that we do from this, and they will also be in the recordings of this. So I will get started here. Will we have the opportunity to email or mail materials to those registered for the show prior to remind them of our products? As with previous shows, attendee contact information is not provided to vendors in any mass listing. Our plan is to provide a pre-registration brochure where vendor listings can be found. Prior to the show, there will also be emails sent out to registrants, of which one will contain vendor information on Genius Bar and networking events. What capabilities for interaction will be built into the booth page, and will we need to train our staff ahead of time on how to use the technology? I know Jen did a good job of showing this, but I'm going to read through the answer in case you missed some of that. The vendor booths in the exhibit hall will contain the ability to chat with attendees visiting the booth. The ability to have a private chat with an attendee who visits the booth will also be available. This means that both parties would need to have technology set up. Employees who will work the booth will need some training. This training will be provided by the Expo and the company supplying us with the virtual event platform. This training will begin mid-October. All of the Expo staff will be proficient to provide training as we approach the event. What type of reporting or metrics do you anticipate being able to gather from attendees, and how, if at all, will those be available to sponsors? We're working on what metrics will be provided to vendors after the show. The metrics will provide booth traffic, length of stay, number of clicks, etc. We do not have this completely finalized yet. Are there any options for us to generate leads? We always like to follow up with folks we've connected with afterward, either via email or via personal rep follow-up. We understand that generating leads is the most important part of a trade show. There are lots of attendees who simply look at a booth, just like in a live event. The leads will be generated for those who engage with booth and simply do not click on the booth as they are browsing. There will be the chat option and video chat option within the booth. There will be the option for attendees to drop my business card when in the booth. This gives the attendee contact information to the vendor. So in the booth that Jen showed us, there will be a link there that says drop my business card. And that means that the attendee will pass their contact information along to you. Next question. We'd like to sponsor an educational session, either 1 hour, 2 hour. When do you anticipate knowing what the topics will be? We'd like to align with a speaker topic that allows us to showcase our new products, fungicide, insecticide, or whatever it may be. We are wrapping up planning for the education sessions this week. I do see some planning going a bit past this week, but for the most part, we will know what sessions are occurring and what the topics will be. Session sponsors will be able to work with the expo as to which session they will sponsor. The exact logos and videos used for sponsoring will be coordinated with the expo staff. We'd like to get feedback about our product from visitors. Can we conduct online questions to visitors? If online questionnaires are not possible, can we get visitor information, email address at least? So we already talked about the drop my business card button. Also, we could have a link on your booth that went to a survey, potentially something like SurveyMonkey, where you could do a questionnaire. Could you clarify the company networking event sponsorship? Can you paint a picture on what this would look like, and would you be able to invite all attendees? The company networking session will have a similar setup to an education session with the company presenting the material. The session will use the Expo Zoom as a platform for the meeting. The company could open the session as an informal gathering. It could be a webinar similar to this very demo. That working session will have a scheduled time on the Expo schedule. Attendees can add it to their Expo schedule. The company would want to solicit attendees at their booth or outside of the Expo to get people to attend. We ask that the content of the networking event not be researched based on a topic that is already being presented in an education session. I had 3 more, and then we'll start looking at the questions and answers that have come in. When a customer goes to Exhibitors and then clicks on the company, how many pieces of literature can we have there for people to click on and add to their bag? Is there a limit? We would not recommend offering more than 20 documents. More than that, I would think would be oversaturation, would not be all looked at, it would be overwhelming. You can certainly upload a large quantity if necessary. In this scenario, we would recommend you using a different place like a Dropbox account or your company website to redirect people to for mass amounts of literature. This question was, can we have a link to our website? Yes, you can have links that go directly back to your website. And then somebody said usually they have multiple people working in their booth, and often they will also be chatting with multiple customers at a time. More details on this when we get to our training, but we can have one-on-one chat sessions that you can set up ahead of time within the booth, or in the general chat within your booth. Multiple people could be talking, but as far as multiple of your employees talking at the same time, you would all have to be involved with that general chat. So we'll have to go a little bit more involved in that when we get to our training sessions. And if Jen has any more comments on that, we can go to her as well. So with all these questions, and we're still going to answer more, the expert would be more than happy to provide you with individual time to discuss the questions. And we can get you in touch with the right person. So Ben, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Greg. We've had several questions coming in, so we'll work our way through those. First, I'd like to start off with one we've heard a couple times now. Education sessions. People either have a topic that they want to recommend or want to speak themselves. We have a method to collect those. Please email JES. You have their contact information. They'll forward that over to us, and we'll connect you with how to input that information. We collect that throughout the year. We are very close to the end, so I'll say presenting this year probably won't happen, but potentially next year. So we'll collect that information from you, but please email JES. So some of the questions, Greg, you touched on stuff a little bit. And I guess this question is two-part to Jen. Jen, how many representatives or staff can be a part of the booth space at any one time? And then the same type of thing, answer this at the same time. Will more than one rep from each company be able to chat during the event and answer questions on the booth?
Yeah, so you can have as many staff as you would like to have, affiliated with your booth. That's completely up to you. And yes, you can certainly have, multiple staff members working the booth and chatting with people individually.
Great, thank you. Greg, question for you. For sponsorships, are they first come, first serve?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Yeah, so the sponsorships are first come, first serve. So with the ones that are limited, I would get in touch with AMR and let them know which ones you are interested in. Some are unlimited, but there are some that we do have limits on, and that's going to be first come, first serve.
Great, thanks. And then sticking with the sponsorship theme, can we dedicate extra funds from our deposit for the physical booth space towards these sponsorship opportunities?
Well, I don't think we've discussed that yet, Ben, have we? I mean, I'm talking back to you. I mean, that's an idea that we would need to.
That would be okay. Absolutely. If you want to move your deposit into a sponsorship, that's just fine.
Okay, all right. I'm in agreement with you, but I didn't want to speak for you as well. So that extra money from a deposit could go to a sponsorship.
Jen, this kind of a functionality question, is there a limit to the file size of documents and video files?
That's a great question that unfortunately I don't know the answer to at the moment. I have a call coming up this afternoon with our folks from VFairs, so I'll have some more information to share. When looking at file size, I would certainly think that you wouldn't want to be sharing something that you would not have the ability to easily download off of a website or download from like a Dropbox. So when you're looking at file sizes and file types, just be mindful, of someone's ability to download that to a particular device.
Great, thanks. Another booth question for you, Jen. It says, I will have several dealers with virtual booths. Can I link my booth to any of theirs to direct visitors? Is there a way to connect individual booths at all?
I don't believe there's a way to connect individual booths. However, I would certainly think that, if you wanted to connect to, a different website or, a different contact, you could certainly do so through that bottom toolbar that you had within your booth.
Great. I'll just answer this one straight. If I have questions on planning my booth functionality, who can I contact? Please reach out to the trade show manager, Trish and Judy at JES Solutions. They will be able to direct you and help you with setting up your booth functionality. And then the last question we have right here is, what is JES? So Judy, could you give a really brief introduction since you guys are new this year? Or looks like Judy fell off the call, lost her. Unfortunately, so Judy, we lost Judy. JES Solutions is our new trade show manager. Sherry German retired after, how many years had she done it? 30 years or so, 29 years of managing first the Hort Show, and then it turned into the Expo. So she had a long legacy, and so once she retired, we hired JES Solutions to manage the trade show. And so you've seen several emails now from Trish. Her email starts with the Glexpo, GLExpo. And so that's who you should be primarily contacting with any exhibitor questions. Any follow-up questions that you have, please feel free to email Trish.
And I do want to just quickly add to that as well, that bear in mind that when you're building your booth, you will have direct contact with the folks at VFairs. They will be emailing you the direct link. You can have open dialogue with them as well. They are there to assist you and make sure that you have all of your needs met and that you're able to achieve the end goal of having a spectacular booth.
Great, thanks for that. That was good. Another question we've been hearing, booth searching. So Jen, you showed that you can scroll side by side. What other means of attendees finding booths will be available?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, if that's all right.
Great.
All right. So in the exhibit hall, can you guys see this okay? Ben, Greg?
Yep, we got it.
Seeing what I'm seeing? Okay, great. So this exhibitor index down here, we'll have the exact same feature. So if you wanted to, if you click on any of these, it's a direct link. So while we don't have the ability to do, you know, a feature search by any means, you know, or maybe like a product search like you're used to, this is going to be a nice concise way of getting you to without having to scroll all the way through these features.
Question that I haven't thought, I don't know if we have the answer to this, is the scrolling feature, are the booths organized alphabetically?
They typically are, yes, you know, they're alphabetized. However, I do believe that we have the ability to arrange them in any particular order that we would like.
Okay, so potentially alphabetical, but to be determined is what I'm hearing.
Also, as we're talking about the scavenger hunt, you'll see this happy little guy in the corner, this lamb. The scavenger hunt items are hidden throughout the entire event. So you'll see we've got this little guy, we've got a snowman. I am not a Star Wars person, so I can't tell you who this is. I apologize. But you have them located really all over the place. So just make sure that you're looking for these as you're walking through, because we are going to have a use of the prize center. So bear that in mind as well.
Thank you. Had another question come in that said, I know the expo is a very large show, being a small business, how do we not get lost in the shuffle? So this year is a little more even playing field. Normally, the trade show, you can buy multiple booths. So if you only buy one booth, you only have your 10 by 10 section that you're in, compared to a much larger exhibitor who maybe will buy 15 booths. This year, everybody gets their one booth, so it's kind of even that way. But your question, how do we not get lost in the shuffle? How do we have a good show? We've been interacting with other companies that have been doing shows this summer and spring, and they've learned a lot and given us a little bit of feedback. Their exhibitors that have the most successful show are engaging in the rest of the show, meaning they're going to the education sessions, they're going to the lounge, they're trying to interact with people outside of waiting for them to come to their booth. If you just sit on your computer and wait for people to come to your booth and chat with you, you'll probably have a few, but it won't be as successful of a show as if you go out and you participate in the education or the networking sessions or the lounge, and trying to use maybe social media and say, hey, come visit me in my booth. So there'll be a little bit of activity that you can do while you're waiting for people to come and visit you and talk to you.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I've got a couple things that have come up that I thought of that I'll answer. So I saw one question was simply, the expo does not give out lists of the attendees' contact information. That is for the people in the trade show to solicit on their own and get people to give them their information. We've never done that. In fact, a lot of companies try and sell that online, and we don't give out those lists to them either. Another thing is, Jen, when you showed those treasure hunt items or the scavenger hunt items, we are selling sponsorships on those, so those will be in people's booths this year. Obviously, if we weren't to sell them all, then maybe we would have something hidden in the lobby or the lounge or something like that. But they would be in your booth if we're selling you, if you're buying one of those sponsorship items. And then something that I don't think we brought up is with your booth purchase, you'll get 10 employee registrations to, you can have up to 10 employees part of the virtual expo. That's what we set up this year for the needs for the companies. So,
And every one of those 10 will be able to participate in the full expo. It's not like they have to stay in the trade show. They can go to any education session. They can go to the networking. They can do the whole show. That's included with the cost of your booth. A couple other questions we have come in. Would you speak to how we might alert our customers to our attendance at the expo? So the expo will be doing a few of the normal things. We're going to have the pre-registration brochure that will go out to every attendee that we've had for the past several years. So this is a mailing of multiple thousands that's going out. In that, we'll list the trade show exhibitors for the year like we normally do. So they'll be, your customers will be able to see your name in that. We'll have them listed on our website. Other than that, I would encourage you to pursue your customers through your own mailing, through your own social media. Alert people as you're able that you're participating at the expo this year, and hey, come chat with us at the expo. See us at the trade show, whatever. So we'll be doing a little. I encourage you to do a little as well. Another question along that line: what kind of campaign will the expo be running to encourage attendees to the show? So we've started a new campaign this year. It isn't necessarily a virtual one, but it's something we've never done before called I Am Expo. We're trying to do something new and flashy and associate faces that attendees would recognize, speakers in the past, maybe MSU educators, researchers, with a branding of the expo. So we've put some significant dollars into this marketing campaign. We're hitting social media as hard as we can. So we're doing what we can to encourage attendees to the show. We've heard from MSU doing all their virtual shows this summer, all their training events, that they're seeing a lot of attendees. They're seeing an increase in attendees from their in-person shows, which is great. So we're hoping the same for Expo. We'll see. Greg, why don't you take this one? Is it possible to have an unmanned booth?
Know where we get. So, I mean, that's not the preferred. We would prefer to have people in your booth behind the scenes being active, because the more interaction you have with attendees, the more you're going to get out of it. But if you can't man that booth for a day or certain hours of the day, that is an option, and that would be fine.
Great, thanks. We mentioned that you'll get 10 free employees with your booth. If you want to purchase more beyond that, it would be the same rate as past years, $25 per employee beyond 10. And that would get them the same access to the expo as everybody else. Can you give the social media outlets you are using? Maybe send links to everyone. So I'd encourage you to look up Expo on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all of those. Would love it if you'd follow us. If you'd like the stuff we share, that'd be wonderful. So done that. Okay. Are attendees required to purchase a ticket, or is it free for them? Greg, you want to take that one?
Sure, I can. I apologize if you hear the dog barking in the background. I have no control over that. Shows you this is a live event. Yes, we are going to charge our attendees a reduced rate this year, but we feel the value they get out of all the education sessions and the research that MSU does, and other universities and other people is of value. And so we didn't want to put a free tag on this show. Ben, are we ready to say what that price is, or we're good talking about that price? Okay.
I would say it's tentative, but we have a range.
Yeah, I mean, so our attendee pricing is what you're talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So tentative being we have not released this to the attendees, but it's going to be $40 per person, and or $20 for students or spouses. So that's something that will be going out to the attendees and registrants in the near future, but that's the cost for this year.
Okay. Greg, would you talk to the times and days that this show is open? Talk to the education, and then also what the exhibitors would want to do with their booths during those times, and then how long it'll be available after the show.
Sure. So December 8th through 10th, starting in the morning at either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., we will begin our education sessions. And those will be in 1-hour blocks with a 10-minute transition time. So basically each session will be 50 minutes, 10 minutes transition, and with the next session starting on the hour. There will be a lunch break from 12 to 1. There will be an afternoon break from 3 to 3:30. There will be a dinner break from 5:30 to 7, and then there will be sessions from 7 to 9. So this is different than in the past when all of education sessions were lumped into 2-hour blocks. This year they're going to be spread out a little bit. So the traffic in the booths will potentially be spread out a little bit differently than in the past. So we have not, I believe you would be able to be in your booth from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., but that would be asking quite a lot. So I think we will post times when the majority of the people will be expected to be in their booths to man those booths. We haven't set on those times yet, so we will need to do that collectively as a group to determine whether that's 8 to 4, 9 to 5, something like that. And then for the month after the show, the attendees, the registered attendees, will be able to log into the expo and still see your booths and all the information in those booths. That answer the question, Ben?
I've been typing to somebody else, so I haven't been listening. I hope so. There's a lot of things going on in the background here. Okay, does anybody have any other questions that they want to kick in? If not, we appreciate everybody's time. Give it just one more minute to see if anybody has a last question. We hope this has been educational for you. We're excited about V-Fairs. We think it's a fantastic platform. We think it's going to be a great show. They have a lot of good features on this one that we're excited about. So hope you're able to join us this year. If you are, please reach out to JES as they indicated on the contract, send that back to them. And if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to them. They're very helpful. If they don't know, they send it over to Greg or I, and we'll turn it around and get you an answer pretty quick. So again, thank you. No more questions are coming in. So thank you so much for your time today. And with that, we will end the recording and end the webinar. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.